All right, guys, welcome to the latest training here at Secure Insurance Group. We are excited you guys are on here. The under 65 health insurance market, we believe, is very, very, very underserved. It's been underserved by us. We've been Medicare and life and all that stuff for so long. And we started realizing probably about a year or two ago that there is a lot of business to write under 65 as well. And there's nobody out there doing that better than Steve and Amy Knersch. And so we wanted to put together a training. You guys saw, a lot of you guys saw them at 8%, saw what they were doing with Top Broker and all that stuff. We are working on getting that as well. I think we have some upcoming meetings with them. And so we'll have that hopefully available for you guys as well soon. But wanted to take just the next, we'll do this today, then Thursday afternoon at 1 and Friday afternoon at 1. And we will get them, just give them all the time they need to let them know how, or let you guys see how they are just dominating the under 65 market. And so I'm going to shut up and let them do their thing. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'm actually going to go here and make them the co-host as well, so that they can they can take care of the screen and they can share their screen and all that stuff. But Steve and Amy, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Dallas. We appreciate it. Appreciate you. And we're definitely excited to do this presentation and give you guys a little more insight and elaborate on what we did down at the main event down in Springfield a couple weeks ago. And we're going to kind of take this, and we're going to, we had like 30 minutes to jam this whole thing into 30 minutes down there.
Well, it was 30, and then Matt took away 10.
Then it was 20.
So, we had 20.
Yeah, whatever. Matt's not on here, but we're gonna find him and steal his cashew chicken. Anyway, we had 20 minutes to jam this whole thing in, and so it was there was some good information. A lot of good things came of it, but we decided let's do some webinars. Let's record these for everybody as training, and let's just go through basically a complete sale from prospecting to presenting. And so today we're going to cover the prospecting side of things. So we're going to cover how we call a lead and how we call a referral, what we say to them, how we gather information from them, how we go through all those steps, and then we'll get ready for our next webinar, which would be Thursday. And Thursday is going to be, taking that gathered information and turning it into what the presentation will be. And then Friday will be the presentation with, or Friday is Top Broker, how we work with our CRM system to help present this to a client. So, which is some of what you saw down at main event if you were down there. So if you weren't down there, shame on you. You need to be at main event next year. Definitely be there, and definitely be at 8% in July. So what would you like to add to what we?
So we built our business initially in the under 65 market. So that was all we knew. And we built a large book of business. We have written tens of millions of dollars in premium on under 65. And I know that there's also this like, well, there's no money to be made in under 65, which is not true at all. And if you were at main event, and we'll probably share this on Thursday, there's a lot of money to be made, excuse me, in the under 65 market. And it's good for you to have that in your back pocket, because a lot of you are Medicare agents and you have a Medicare spouse who's, funny thing, not turning 65 exactly on the same day that your Medicare client is. So you need to be able to help the spouse. There's a lot of movement going on in the employer space where people are leaving their employer, they're getting fired, they're realizing life is short and they want to do something that they love. There's all kinds of, qualifying life events that we can help on the marketplace all year long. There's a lot of other plans that are available, every day of the year. So it's really important to have it in your back pocket or add it to what you're already doing. We're not saying to replace what you're doing, just add, you're missing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars of income to you. So we I am a 1% producer in the under 65 market. So we're just telling you that, not to brag, but just to tell you that we know what we're doing. And we've made some mistakes and a lot of mistakes. So we're just here to kind of shorten the learning curve for you, and just teach you today on how to prospect a lead. Now, we're going to give you the hardest thing, right? Is not necessarily cold calling, but calling a lead that you don't know, they don't know you, they weren't referred to you. There's no warmth to that lead at all. You've got to be able to cultivate that. Now, if you're getting referrals or you're sitting with a Medicare spouse, obviously you'll be able to fast forward through some of this, but we wanted to give you the hardest worst case scenario to help you learn and then accommodate that to your particular situation.
Yep. And you guys have been prospecting your market. You've been gathering information from your market. We're just going to show you what we've done and how we've been successful in under 65. We're going to make all these scripts and forms and everything available to you. You can use them. You don't have to use them. I would just say this has been successful for us. Make it your own. And then as long as you gather the right information and you present the correct products, then you're not going to have any problems. But this is just what we did, and we'll make these forms available to you guys. We'll get Dallas to email this stuff out. So,
and just know too that what we do and how we do it is proven. It's based on the Sandler selling system, from the initial prospecting to the package selling, all of that. So just know that this isn't something we just kind of like conjured up here and there and threw this together. This is proven steps by step, and typically like this one is prospecting. So how you talk to that client the initial time, or prospect I should say, to get them to be a client and help them to show up to the next appointment. If that doesn't happen for you, you probably skipped something in the script. Now we want you to be able to make it your own. You know how to read a script, but make sure that each point that's in there, you're not skipping that. Well, I don't really know if that's necessary. It's necessary. It's proven. So just take our word on that. So we want you to be as successful as possible. So we're just giving you the tools.
awesome. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. The first thing you're going to see is a phone script. And just a thumbs up. Can everybody see the script on there? Anybody? Good. Okay. So I'm going to kind of go over this, and then Amy is going to put it into action for us. So the first part of this is an opening. This first paragraph is just an opening paragraph to get the conversation started. The paragraph ends with an open-ended question. So this would go something like this. Hey, Steve, this is Bill from Polaris Insurance Solutions. Your name came across my desk today. Looks like you're looking for some help with health insurance. What were you hoping we could do for you? That just opens up the conversation, and it's an open-ended question for that person to then speak. If we get them to speak, we listen, then we can formulate questions off of those responses. So most of you have done this in one form or another in the insurance industry. You get the idea. If you're new, then maybe you're learning something new. But this is just a way to get the conversation open, and then we go right into the gathering of information. And we're listening in under 65, especially we're listening for a sick statement, something that is going to jump out that we can kind of, it's like, who was it that said there at main event, there's the bruise and you push on the bruise just a little bit to see if it still hurts,
Josh.
So Josh, yeah, Joshua Young. So, this is what this portion of the script is about. You listen for a problem that's going to be a financial problem or some kind of issue for this particular prospect, and you're going to find that bruise, and you're just going to kind of test it to see how bad it hurts, right? How bad is the pain in this scenario? And once you get it to that, hey, stop pushing on my bruise, that hurts. Now you've got the appropriate amount of reason for this person to do business with you and the products that you're going to present to them.
So I guess I like to look at it as we are all in sales. but we feel like we're just simply educators. We really care about people. We're not in this turn and burn kind of thing. So mentally, I'm thinking like I'm coming alongside of this prospect, putting my arm around them and saying, hey, I know you're wanting to talk to me. What's going on? You know, and listening and really caring about them and finding, like he called it the SIG statement, finding what their pain point is and taking it to 911. Then they are not going to miss your next call or the next appointment, because now they know, shoot, I was worried, scared before. Now I'm really worried and scared, but I want, you know, Steve to solve this. I trust that he can. So I'm going to be on that next call or appointment.
Right. So that second kind of paragraph there is all about gathering the information, getting the pain. That's those statements that are going to draw out that pain. And then the rest of it is going to be an upfront contract. So we're going to get a series of statements that are going to have them say yes to, right? So they're going to say yes to the rest of these statements, and then we're going to set an appointment. And so what we use this for a lot is for a new agent coming in, someone who hasn't really sold under 65 health insurance, and they're going to be working leads. They're going to be working age leads or exclusive leads through a CRM system. And I even use the same thing with referrals. I just change it up a little bit. So instead of your name came across my desk today, I would say that you were referred to me by somebody, let's say Dallas referred you to me. And then I go through the rest of the script and I gather the information, I find out what's going on. But it's a different conversation, as you know, from a referral to a lead or a prospect that doesn't know you and you don't know them. So the rest of this is going to be just an upfront contract and then scheduling appointment. And that's basically all this section is. And then we also have the document that we used for gathering of information, right? And typically we avoid all of the information on here that is social security numbers, driver's license numbers, any of those things we do not talk about at least in the first call. We only get to that when we get to the application process. So right now we need to know who's on the plan. We need to know how old they are, height and weight for most of them, depending on the product that we're selecting. If it's ACA, we don't need to worry about that. If it's a short-term medical, then we do. We need to know what they have and who it's with and how much they pay. And that's going to give us an idea of budget. So we don't have to go fishing for a budget unless they don't have health insurance whatsoever. Then we have to kind of figure it out. But if they have something today, and maybe part of the pain is they're paying too much, then we can go in and we'll know exactly, do you have it? Yes. Who's it with? Blue Cross. And how much do you pay? Too much. And now you know what that number is. And now we can make sure that we try to beat that number as much as we can. And that's primarily all the information we need. We need to know where they live and how to get a hold of them. And then we're off to the races. So
most of the conversation that you'll have, you're going to just be, it's as organically going to be coming out. Most of this information, it's just when you get into like, okay, I need a few things for quoting purposes, what's your zip code, things like that. The most of your conversation is going to be in that second paragraph, listening for the SIG statement, asking questions, pulling out the pain, gathering the information. The rest of it, even though it's not as much of a time span, it's very strong and deep in the importance of it.
Okay. So now we're going to go through a little role play. We're going to role play through this, the script and the gathering of the information that we need to go to the next step, which will be quoting and presenting. And that will be on Thursday. So this is going to be just the role play of the gathering of information, using our script and getting all the information that we need. So,
okay. So we're going to use the same scenario of the person I'm talking to that we did when we were at main event. So for those of you that were there, this will be a little bit repetitive, but we want to just build on your knowledge base there. So, all right. So I'm going to call Steve. He is a lead. He is not a warm referral. So this is going to be a phone call, although, you know, it doesn't look like it right here, but let's just pretend there's a wall and maybe some counties between us. So ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Steve. Hey, this is Amy of Polaris Insurance Solutions. Your name came across my desk today. You were looking for some help with health insurance. What are you hoping we can do for you?
Well, I'm going to be losing coverage at my business, and I'm going to I am opening up my own business. I've been doing this little side hustle for a while, and it's now out producing my income at my other job, and so now I'm going to be without health insurance.
Starting your own business.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's exciting and scary, right?
It is scary, but
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah. So you're losing coverage at your work. When is that going to be ending?
That's going to be ending at the end of July.
End of July. Okay, so we're looking for August 1st start date. All right. Tell me a little bit about your plan at work. What's your carrier?
Right now, we're with Blue Cross,
Okay.
and we have a high deductible plan. It's an HSA style plan, and I feel like we're paying a lot of money for it for a family of 4, but that's all going to go away. So I need to put something else in its place.
Okay. So when you say high deductible, can you tell me what that is?
Yeah, it's $7,000.
Okay, because sometimes I have people I talk to, high deductibles 1,500. The next person, it's 10, so
Yeah.
10,000. Okay, so 7,000. All right. Any co-insurance after that? Max out of pocket, is it the same 7,000?
I think it's 8,700.
8,700. That makes sense. It's a common number right now. And on your HSA, do you fund that HSA, or do you just, it's HSA compliant?
Yeah, I fully fund the
Fully
HSA.
fund it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so taking all this. All right. So you mentioned about your family. So you're needing to cover all your family, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Tell me about those people. So yourself, what's your birthday, Steve?
I'm 40 years old.
40. Okay.
My
and
wife
then-
is 40.
Okay.
I have a son who's 15 and a daughter who's 12.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. What do your kids like to do? What are they into?
They play a lot of sports. We do a lot of outdoor activities, and it's primarily
They
it.
play sports mainly at school or other leagues as well?
Yeah, summertime stuff and in school as well.
Okay. Do you do any traveling teams? Like what kind of sports do your kids play?
No, not really traveling, but local stuff. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
soccer and baseball.
All right. Cool. All righty. How about your wife or yourself? Do you guys do any extracurricular activities as far as sports or any like leagues? Or you said you like to be outdoors. You guys hike and mountain climb and rock climb, or
No,
you're just out for a walk to the park?
We'll bike and walk, but that's about it.
Nothing crazy. Okay, cool. All right. Does anybody have any ongoing medical conditions or anything that I need to be aware of? And I only ask that just to make sure that when we're shopping the plans, we're making sure we're looking at plans that are going to cover your needs.
My wife has a thyroid medicine. Everybody else is healthy with no meds.
Okay. Has she been on that for quite a while?
Yeah, about 5 years.
Okay. So it's basically under maintenance with that
Mhm.
medication. All right, perfect. All right. And you said she's on a prescription. Do you happen to know the name of that?
Levothyroxine.
Ooh, get extra bonus points for knowing your wife's meds. I'm not gonna ask you. I'm gonna have to ask you about her weight here in a minute,
Oh, boy.
but well, we won't tell her that you shared that information with
Yeah.
me. All right. Okay, so in your leaving your job and getting new coverage, are you wanting something similar to what you have right now, or what are you most concerned about coverage?
We kind of like our HSA. We like how it works. If we can still do that, that'd be great. We don't mind that. We don't really go to the doctor for too much, other than my wife goes, a couple times a year for a thyroid. Other than that, that's about it.
Okay.
So maybe, injuries, stuff like that is probably the most important thing for
The
us.
big stuff, okay. And your work plan right now, does your employer help pay for that, or what is your portion of that that comes out of your check?
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know, something like 50% or so.
50%,
Mhm.
okay? And how much is your portion that you're paying for your family every month?
900 something.
900 something,
Mhm.
okay? And is that comfortable for you, or is that?
Well, I mean, if it can be lower, that'd be great.
Of course, I want lower for mine too, because I pay
Yeah.
the same premiums you do as well.
Right.
Okay. All right, so is there anything else that you're worrying about as far as, making that switch? Because usually, I'm talking to a lot of people right now that are making the change from their employer wanting to branch off into doing something that they really love. So I hear this a lot, and people are most worried about making that change because of their benefits. You feel like that is your concern as well?
Yeah, I mean, my wife and I are both concerned about benefits, and that, if something was to happen and we didn't have benefits, that would be a huge problem for us.
What would that look like for you? Let's say your son gets hurt playing, does he play football?
Baseball.
Baseball. What would happen if he, got hurt bad playing baseball and you didn't have coverage?
Well, I can only imagine what the emergency room bill would be if it was a broken bone or broken limb, something like that.
So if you didn't have coverage and that happened and you're starting this new business, what would that look like for you and your business and your financial stability?
Well, it could be a huge setback, especially if I'm just starting my business.
Would you possibly have to go back to your job?
It's a possibility, yeah, depends on how much the bill was.
How would that make you feel if you had to go back to your boss, your current boss, and say, need my job
Yeah,
back?
that would not be too good. I would not like that at all.
Yeah,
I really want this to work.
okay. Well, that makes sense. All right. So since your employer is paying about 50%, do you have any idea what it would cost you if he wasn't contributing?
Well, if it's 50%, it's got to be double that. That's $1,800. So that's a lot of money for me right now.
Is it? Okay, what would be more comfortable for you, knowing 900's employers contributing, but 1,800 is like, ooh, you got to be realistic here. So
If we could split the difference, I could probably make that work.
okay, all right, perfect. Okay, all right, righty. Well, let me gather a little bit more information from you just for quoting purposes. Steve, what is your zip code at home?
64063.
Okay. As you or your wife use any tobacco products?
No,
Kids, do I dare ask?
no,
They haven't picked up the habit yet?
nope.
All right, good for them. Okay. All right, and again, they're just reviewing the only prescriptions, your wife's levothyroxine,
Mhm.
nothing for anybody else?
No,
Okay, perfect. Oh, and let me ask you too, on the zip code, what county is that you live in? Because some zip codes go from one county to the next, and the rates are gonna be a little different from county to county.
that's Jackson County.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, Steve, I'm not sure that we can help you, but let's assume we can. My job is to see if we can help, and to do that, I'm gonna take all this information, I'm gonna go out, and I'm gonna shop all of the carriers and the plans that are available for you. We'll design a plan that best suits your needs and your budget, which is why I was asking all the questions that I did. Being an independent broker means that I'm really working for you. If I was just only representing, let's say, Aetna, I'm only gonna shop Aetna. I'm gonna try to shove Aetna down your throat. But really, being an independent broker, I can shop all of them, and we'll put this together to meet your family's needs the best. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I have a couple appointments left this week. I have, let's see, Tuesday morning at 10, or I have a Thursday afternoon at 1:30. Do either one of those work for you?
Thursday at 1:30.
Thursday at 1:30. Okay.
Actually, can we do 1 o'clock?
Yes, I can make one work.
Okay.
Okay, and I really want you to check with your spouse on this, because I don't want you to be in trouble for not checking with her and setting an appointment, just assuming she's going to be there. So can you give her a call real quick, or text her? I can hold.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep, she's available.
Okay, perfect. And what's her first name?
Jeanette.
Steve and Jeanette. All right, got it. Okay. So after we talk, Steve, on that next call, you might decide that the options that are available won't work for you. And if that comes up, can I ask you, are you gonna be okay with telling me no?
Sure, yeah, I'll tell you no if I need to.
Okay, good, perfect. I really want to respect your time as well as mine. I want to make sure that this is going to align with what you need. And if it doesn't, I want you to be able to tell me that. Can you scroll down on the chart so they can follow along?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then if as we talk and what I found is what you're looking for, we will agree on the next steps. Does that make sense for you?
Yes,
Okay, perfect. So I'll give you a call Thursday at 1 o'clock. And
Okay.
that for you and Jeanette will both be on the call, right?
yes,
Okay. And if something comes up, will you please let me know?
absolutely.
I want to respect your time as well as mine. Let me give you my direct number. Do you have a paper and pen handy?
I do.
Okay, here it is. 816-345-9868. Did you get that? Can you repeat that back to me?
Yes, 816-345-9868.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great, Steve. Well, you have a beautiful day and I'll talk to you and Jeanette on Thursday at 1 o'clock.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Mhm, bye-bye.
Okay, so that was just, I mean, this is probably remedial for a lot of you guys, and I hope we didn't bore you to death with some of that, but under 65, you definitely have to pull out pain. You have to find out what's going on and in their lives, and you have to find out why they need this and why they need this today. And you need to get the right information so that you can present the plans that are most in their best interest, right? So whether it's an ACA plan, whether it's a short-term medical plan, health share ministry plan, or a fixed benefit, or a combination thereof, we're definitely going to make sure that we cover all the bases when we go to quote this, right? So we just want to make sure that we're getting all the right information and thoroughly writing it down, making sure that we have all the stuff we need.
So you heard like in the part of the creating the pain, finding the pain, digging to 911 level. I made Steve really uncomfortable by asking him questions that he hadn't thought of. He's already concerned about leaving his job and getting a plan, or not getting a plan, or not being able to afford the plan. But now I have him thinking about, if that doesn't work, what in the world is he going to do? And now he's starting to freak out in his mind even more, like, shoot, man, I got to get this figured out. I got to get in the budget. If I don't, and I don't have this, and little Johnny gets hurt playing baseball and I have to pay this, now my whole savings may be gone. I may not be able to continue the business. Now I got to go back to my boss and ask for my job back. And now they're like, holy smokes, I am not doing that. So now Steve is going to be, that's 911. And Amy's, you do the little takeaway that I'm not sure we can help you. Because honestly, if they're wanting to plan for their family for $400, like, now he didn't say that, but numbers are numbers, right? So we do a little takeaway, which then was like, wait, now I have this like need and I need you to help me. And now you're not sure you can help me, but oh, you probably can. But then we gave them permission to tell us no also, which takes a lot of like, whew, she's not just gonna hard sell me like some schmucky used car salesperson. And if that was one of you, I'll take offense to that. But so what questions do you guys have for us? I mean, you can put it in the chat, or I'm fine.
Yeah, we can unmute
just
and ask questions. We can, you can put it in the chat, whatever you'd like to do. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions. And remember, this is a 3-part deal. So today is the gathering of information. We're going to collect everything. We're going to build that pain and the 911 level of why we need to do this and why we need to do it with us. And then we're going to go right into how we put it all together and the presentation, and then how we show it through our CRM system.
And we'll be doing more trainings too on like, well, what in the world? I don't even know what all the options are in the under 65. And how do I know if they say they have this problem? Does that mean that doesn't everyone just go to the ACA? Why would they not go to the ACA? Why would they? How do I? We'll be doing more trainings, but this is just wanting to help you get in front of people and then make a mess. We tell people, and we'll help you clean up the mess, solve the problem, make the sale for you. with you. This is your client, your person, and your commission. We just want to help you get up and going as quick as possible.
Also, when Amy was asking me questions, she was asking about sports, right? So when she's asking me about sports, what role is that going to play in this? That's going to be a part of a package sale, right? So we have the medical piece. She's asking about sports. That's going to be an accident medical expense. That's going to be an additional policy on top of the short-term medical. And then she's going to get into cancer, heart attack, and stroke. That's one of the other big things that leads us to meeting our deductible and our max out of pocket here in the United States. And so that's going to be another policy.
And you heard him say that. So he's concerned about the big cost stuff, the big what if stuff. We're really okay unless something big like that happens, right? I asked about prescriptions, so now I'm going to be able to address that, how that's going to work. They don't really go to the doctor a lot. You know, I asked about travel. Do you travel? Do they travel with the sports? That's making sure because I don't know yet if, you know, when I asked that, if they have a lot of medical issues. But I now know that they travel or they don't travel. So they need a nationwide network or a local network is going to suffice, right? I know that they need sports related injuries covered or not so much. And then in asking about the budget, right, it was more about what are you paying now? What's your employer paying? What do you think it would be? Now, I know that that was kind of silly because 950%, but a lot of times it's 50% of the employee only. So it may really be more than that, or it might be less than that. I just don't know. So I let him like kind of make fun of me, like, well, if it's 900, then it'd be 1800, lady. You know? But that's why you're asking those things. And then what is comfortable for him? And sometimes in your conversations, they will already tell you those things, right? Like sometimes the pain point for people is, gee whiz, my premium went up again. Again, what do you mean again? Well, last year it was 500, then it went to 700, now it's 1100. Okay, so now I know they can handle 500. Don't really like 700, but they could do that. 1100, they're going to be without coverage or something, you know. So then you go into that a different scenario. So those are reasons why I was asking those questions, not just, you know, going through the gather sheet like, oh, let's see what is, and that's how it was when I first started. Let me see, let me make sure I have everything right. So what questions do you guys have?
Okay, you said this was the Sandler system. Is that what you said? The
Yeah,
Sandler?
Sandler selling system. Yeah, I usually pay about
Okay.
10 grand for the Sandler selling training course. So
Well, you
we're
guys
giving it
sound
to you
really
for free.
smooth. I loved it.
Yeah, good,
And I
good,
love the scripts. I love the scripts.
good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have anything?
So when we went through the Sandler selling system, they presented it in a totally different way. And then we made this script based on the information they were giving out. And we just put it into a one sheet, basically script. And so out of all that $10,000 and all the hours of time sitting there listening to them, we narrowed it down into this script on this page. And now that's what we've been using ever since.
And it's funny because he put that together and then it's pretty much traveled around a lot of the under 65 markets, other FMOs and different things where sometimes we'll hear it and it's basically Steve's script. There's a question there.
Tony Overton.
Yes, we will be going through different carriers, how to quote. There, you know, being an independent broker can sometimes be overwhelming and you're like, geez, there's how many carriers and whatever. So we will educate on what carriers are the best in, like, say if you're doing short-term medical, you know, what carrier is better and why. In this, if they're playing sports, it's better to go over here and why. And we have taken all of the products and put them together in kind of a cheat sheet of packages, right? And it'll actually, the cheat sheet will have like the highlights. So when you're talking, you don't have to try to memorize every brochure, right? So as you're going through, you're going to be saying, you know, Well, let's see, with United Healthcare, they have a $50 urgent care copay. If you're talking Allstate, it's a 75, or whoever it is, you'll have those cheat sheets, and then we'll have the package bundles. It's like a platinum and a silver and a basic, and no one likes to be basic. So that will in itself help you to package sell, because no one wants the basic plan. Some people want the platinum, but you get a lot of the silver options. And we'll educate you on networks and just the different reasons why maybe one carrier is a little stronger in this way and one's a little stronger in that way. That way, when you're talking to people, we'll help you know kind of what grid to put them in. If they're, say they don't have health and they don't have money, well, we know that they're going to go to ACA because they either need the marketplace for no pre-existing conditions. And they also, if they don't have money, then you go to the marketplace because they'll probably get a subsidy. They can afford it, right? If they're, so there's different scenarios: no health, money and no health, no money, but health and money. And kind of when you're asking these questions, you're going to start placing people in that grid, and you're going to know what kind of products fall within this grid or that grid or only ACA or whatever, and how to package those. Because just because somebody qualifies for a big subsidy on the marketplace, they may still have $8,000 max out of pocket. Well, most Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings for all emergencies, not just medical emergencies. So you're really doing due diligence by helping those clients package selling so that they don't have much money out of pocket on the back end either, because people will use their plan.
Absolutely.
Okay, where are all these cheat sheets going to be? You're going to give us?
They're gonna be emailed over to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So these two sheets we went through today will be emailed and available.
We can send that Foursquare thing too.
Yeah, we can do the Foursquare, but we'll go through that in a training, the Foursquare, and then the packages, and then.
Okay, so you already have our emails?
We'll
We'll send them to Dallas, and Dallas can shoot them out to everybody.
Okay, that sounds great.
And I think they'll put them on the
Site.
SIG agent portal, so they'll probably be on there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions from anybody today? Was that helpful? Yes, no? Perfect.
Awesome.
Super helpful.
Good.
Okay, so just remember that this is a three-part deal, right? So today is gonna roll right into Thursday. Thursday is gonna be an extension of today, and then Friday is gonna be the extension of Thursday. So we're just gonna keep rolling these three in succession. So I know some of this might have been remedial for a lot of you, but just wanted to start the process the way we normally do it in under 65, and then how we get to the end. And that's going to be, that'll be how we do that. So
yeah, because
thanks, Tony.
if we just went into the package selling, right, then who cares if you can't get the person to the appointment, so it has to start here. So you're drumming up the information, gathering that, creating the pain, taking to 911 level, getting them to show up to the appointment. And then we're going to hold a weekly training on different under 65 topics. They're all going to be recorded. There'll be a Zoom. People can jump on sometimes, and sometimes they can't, but they'll be recorded and put up on the SIG portal. So it'll be all of the stuff that probably everything you want to know about under 65 health insurance and more. But it'll be at a resource there. And we are always available to anybody on the SIG team for questions or thoughts or any help. If you're like, hey, I got this appointment, but I don't really know how to do this, we'll walk you through it. We've done that with a lot of the SIG agents already. If you have a team and you want us to do a specific team training, we can do that as well. We just joined forces with SIG. Like I said, we built our business on under 65. We added Medicare. They built theirs on Medicare, added under 65. So We are working through SIG on Medicare, and they're working through us, if you want to say, through under 65. Now, the contracts are Brian's contracts. We're just working on training and support like they do for Medicare. So I know there's some question about that at the main event. People wondering what the contracting process is. That's all through SIG. So you just contact the contracting department at SIG if you aren't contracted and you want to be. So, all right. Anything else? Oops.
Okay, in the chat, I just put Amy and my cell phone numbers. Some of you guys already have these, some of you may not. Those are our cell phones. You can call, text anytime. In a later presentation, you'll have our email addresses as well. But feel free to reach out if you have any questions, need any help, or you want to share something offline. It's totally fine. Just give us a call or text at any point, and we'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. Also, little sneak peek here. I know that like Will and Guillermo will be interested to hear this, that we're working on a deal right now with our CRM system, and the rest of you would also have access to this, but we're working on a deal right now. Should know by Thursday or Friday, whether we can reduce the cost of it and get it out to all of the SIG agents as well. So if that works out, then you'll be able to present your products the same way that we do as we did at the main event. So,
And that we don't own the CRM, we don't make money off of it, so don't.
Yeah, it's not us,
This is anything like that. Just trying to provide you all the tools that make life as an agent easier and more organized, and no leads are left behind. And the packaging and the presenting, it's from start to finish, and thereafter where the system will drip on your clients, or if they say no now, they'll keep dripping, and then people respond back. And all of a sudden, when I first got this, like once it went live, the next morning I opened my email and there's all these like from so-and-so regarding this, I'm like, what is all this stuff? And it was like the drip going out to clients about dental insurance. And I had like 8 dental sales and I didn't even do anything but let my CRM system work. So again, it's not our system. We don't make money off of it. It's just a way to help you. So, all right.
any other questions while we're here? We're good?
I had a quick question, Steve
Yeah.
and Amy.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the time frame that you give yourself to, once you've done the fact gathering, to get back to a person? And
Yep.
then what if you have someone that kind of starts to waver a little bit? Oh, well, I'm not really sure. Then what's going to be like your next process with that? If
Okay.
you can't get them to make an appointment after you've done your fact gathering?
Okay. So those are great questions, Kim, thanks. So as far as setting the appointment, I try to do it within the next day or two from when we talk. If you wait too long, because you have their pain level now at 911, they want you to help them solve it. And then as time goes on, that pain level goes down, the 911 goes down. So you want to get it in the next day or two. Plus, if they're like me, they're really busy, and then it's like the next week and 2 weeks, and then they're like, whatever, let's just push that off because now I have 17 more things going on. So I would do that. Even if they don't, like I talk to people who are thinking about leaving their employer, going on their own just like this, but they're wondering if they can, and they're thinking maybe ahead, right? I still have that call within the next 24 to 48 hours. And then if they indeed are thinking not until whatever, January, then I tell them I'll check in with them, after our next presentation call. Is it okay if I check in with you in a month or so to see if a couple weeks or whatever you want, to see if you have any questions, anything has changed in your situation? Because what I find is most people are pleasantly surprised that it's the situation with their benefits is actually not as bad as they think it was going to be. So they may move up that time frame and start living that life they want to live sooner. And so I just stay in touch with them, every month or so, once we get through the next step. Now, if someone is hesitant at setting an appointment, usually you can go back through this script and you probably missed something. You haven't dug the pain down to 911 level enough. So kind of circle back, when you first said, or when I said, hey, Steve, your name came across my desk. What are you hoping we can do for you? And Steve started talking, and then I started asking questions, and he started talking about his pain level. And we get down to setting an appointment and he gets wishy-washy. I go back to the pain level. Well, I know earlier when we were talking, Steve, you were saying about leaving your, wanting to quit your regular job to go do your widget company or whatever that you really love, and that you may have to go back to your, employer. Like, let's talk about that again. Like you said, you don't really want to have to do that. Or is it really not that big of a deal to go back to what's your boss's name again? Oh, John or whatever. You don't want to go back to John? Why not? And then take them back to that. The things they told you, you didn't force that on them. That was the answers they gave you. This is the pain that they gave you, and why they were even out on the internet looking for help with a health insurance quote. I mean, let's be real. No one's looking at health insurance for fun. That's like looking for a new car or a new house or a new hairdo or whatever it is, so they're looking for health insurance for a reason. And most people aren't just like tire kicking health insurance pricing. If they are, they're usually people who don't have coverage. And honestly, those can be the hardest people. I haven't had coverage for 20 years, but now that I'm, 50, I probably should have something. But then you really have to dig through, like, well, what I usually say is, it's, if they're 50, it's probably $500. So $400, whatever, so you can give them a price range, might be between $400 to $600. And they'll be like, what? That's ridiculous. Then I'll say, well, yeah, I mean, it is a lot, but so why don't you just keep doing what you're doing? Just keep what you have. And then just be quiet and make them sit and think. And then they're like, well, because now that I'm older, I can't afford a $20,000 broken arm, let alone a $200,000 cancer claim. I don't have that kind of cash pay stuff, so you just keep bringing them back to the reason. Now that person, again, that I have had probably 3 in 10 years say I be that person. I haven't had coverage, and I don't $500, like I'll just set that aside and I walk them through what a normal scenario, like claim would be. And maybe they can set $500 aside, but how many months of that is it going to take to pay a cancer claim of, 120,000 or 2 million, So I have had 3 people say, oh, just forget it. I'm just going to keep going uninsured. And if I have something happen, I'll just go to the ER and they can just write it off. Which I'm like, great. I'm thinking, yeah, you mean I'm going to pay it for you. So, okay. So, you just got to let people like that go. You want to, get to a place where you can, if you want to say fire your clients, but like you want to attract people who respect you, respect your time, respect the whole, insurance industry, I guess, as a whole. None of us like paying our insurance premiums, but we know they're important, right? So if they're a pain right now, trying to get them to get on an appointment, if they're a pain right now, trying to get them to be compliant and you're talking, like I'm telling you, they're going to be a pain when it comes claim time, when it comes this time, when, they're going to be the ones that forget that you told them that if they go with the term plan, it doesn't cover their, their preventative isn't covered for free, and they're going to be yelling at you. So just kind of keep all of those things in mind. But the biggest thing I would say, if you're having troubles getting to an appointment, is the pain level wasn't dug down deep enough. So just circle back to that. What you told me in the beginning of our conversation is that right? Oh, yeah. And then ask a few more questions, and then do soft closes as you're asking. So you told me that you love your business. Is that right, Steve? And, but if you don't have coverage and something happens that's more than a $50,000 or maybe $20,000 claim, can you handle that? And you said that this would wreck your finances. Is that right, Steve? Is that what you told me?
Yes.
So what would you do? What would you do if you had that kind of a claim? Wiped out your, your savings?
I don't know what I would do.
You probably have to go back to the sure deal thing where you're going back to your job so you have some benefits.
Probably so, yes.
Would you like to go back to John and tell him that, hey, I ventured out on this thing
No, I
and you're
would not.
excited and now you're having to eat your words. So,
Yeah.
so again, see, it's like, this is even a real scenario, but he's already getting uncomfortable, like talking about that and feeling awkward and, just thinking about how awkward that would be to have to go back to John. So I guess that's what I would say. Go back to the pain, and dig. If they flake out, they flake out. But I honestly, if I've only had about 3 of those in 10 years, and honestly, in the beginning, obviously I had people ghost me on appointments and, I just had to get better. And this is the getting better is this, scenario. So.
I have a question, and you made a comment about like working backwards to the employer. So when you're talking to an employer, do you need to ask them like when the insurance they have right now ends?
Yeah.
Because usually they're under contracts, right?
Yeah. Are you talking about like this scenario where Steve has a group plan? Or are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about when you go back to the group, because, if they're part of a group and they're wanting
I see.
something outside, then, because they don't like what they have where they're working at. I've talked to people that don't like what they have at work. Well, that's an excellent way to walk in,
Right.
So are you going to teach us on how to, ask those right questions? And
Yep,
I was
that's a
talking
great
to-
point. That's a great point, and that would be a good training in itself, because when you're
yes, please.
Yep, when you're working with those employees or somebody leaving, there's a lot of questions there, or maybe they're just like, my employer offers a plan, but the coverage stinks and it's really expensive. Well, tell me about that. Tell me about the coverage. When you say it stinks, what does that look like? And sometimes it is really bad. Well, so we can help them with group health insurance. If you put me in touch with, your HR manager or whatever, we can, I'm happy to talk to your employer. We broker that as well, or educate, you on options outside of your employer plan. And if because usually they'll say, well, it's expensive for me and my friend Josie and Betty and Henry and whoever, everybody's mad about the new plan. Nobody can afford it. So now you either can help the employer, right, with a new plan, or you might have 3, 4, 5 new individual clients. So, yep, we'll make a note of that. We'll have a training on that as well.
Thank you.
Good idea.
Well,
I can't read.
Will says you could split the family. That's a good option. Keep the employee on the employer coverage, and then the rest of the family
Yep.
can go with something else.
Yep. So in Steve's scenario there, he's quitting his job. He's the one holding the insurance. So that wouldn't be an option. But if you do have, like a lot of times, in fact, I just talked to one yesterday. If they're a teacher, for example, teachers get free or like $20 a month for their health insurance, but adding their family is, $1,100, $1,800, $2,200. So like, geez, oh. So leave the teacher, leave the employee on the plan, and you can take the spouse and the children off of the plan and get them something else. And we can talk through can you get them a subsidy if they have a group plan option? We can talk through that, but we can also educate you on the other options that they can get, which most of them, if they're healthy, healthy-ish. And when I say healthy, it doesn't mean, if they have high blood pressure, cholesterol, thyroid, those kind of things are not a big deal. Yeah, they can maybe look at a term option that would probably be half the price of their group plan with the nationwide network and blah, blah, blah. So that's a good point, Will. Okay, anything else? We have just a few minutes left. I want to respect your time so you can get back to making your money and doing your thing.
Any other questions? We good? Okay, all right.
Guys.
Thank you
so
again.
much. You're welcome. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time, and we know time is the most valuable asset. So anytime anybody gives us a little bit of time, we are very thankful for that. And hope you have a beautiful day. We'll talk to you on Thursday for sure.
Thursday, 1 o'clock. See you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome.